Welcome to another Foolish Thoughts episode. This is Joe Sabrone, aka A Fool for Learning, and our foolish thought for today is the most useless email phrase. In April of 2025, the New York Post ran an article entitled, quote, "The most useless phrase to put in an email. Expert says it accomplishes nothing," end quote. It's quite a long title. On a side note, I lived about a block away from the New York Post when I was growing up. Many of the older gentlemen in our neighborhood worked for the New York Post as drivers, printers, etc. But that's an aside. According to the article, the worst phrase to put in an email is, quote, "just checking in," end quote. According to Jenny Dreisen, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, who is a, quote, "modern day etiquette, boundaries, and relationship expert," end quote. Although the purpose of such a phrase is to get you to respond with the status of a request or deliverable according to Dreisen, it does nothing. If you really want to uh, get someone to provide you with an update, then you simply need to be more direct and say something like, "Hey, I want to know how progress is going on X, Y, and Z." So I have two questions for you. Number one, have you ever used this phrase before? And to be honest, I have used it on occasion. Not a huge number of times, but I've used it once in a while. And second, which is a much more important question to you, and that is, do you really believe that this is the most useless phrase to put in an email? Now, the answer that many of you are going to say is probably no, this is not. And by doing a very, very simple search online, you can find a number of other quote unquote useless phrases, such as, "to be honest with you." Does that mean you haven't been honest with them before? Another one is, "sorry to bother you." No, you're not sorry. You want an answer. That's why you're asking for it. Third, "let me know if there's anything else I can do for you." And by the way, this one opens up a whole can of worms because the person may ask you anything of you. And finally, "as mentioned before." Now, there are a ton of other phrases that you can probably think of. And if you think of any, please feel free to go ahead and put them into the chat section of this video. So if you learned something from this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, or maybe even share with a friend. And don't use one of those useless email phrases if you're sharing it with a friend. This is Joe Sabrone, aka A Fool for Learning, signing out. Remember, learn, perform, succeed.